Have you ever stopped to reflect on how others perceive you? Not from the surface, but from the deepest level, where words become unnecessary and the only thing that remains is the energy you radiate. It's easy to overlook that we are not seen for what we say, nor even for what we do, but for what we are at our core. And yet, we live in a world where most people settle for being just another face in the crowd, merely occupying space, conforming to external expectations. But you are not here for that. You are here because, deep down, you know you were not born to be just another option. You were born to become someone irreplaceable, unparalleled, a true rarity. The path to that transformation is not easy. It's not about adding external things to your life or building an image to impress others. It's about turning inward and facing the greatest challenge of all, knowing yourself. Because you cannot be a rarity if you don't understand what makes you unique. Maybe you've never asked yourself this before, but inside you, there is something that no one else possesses, a one-of-a-kind combination of experiences, talents, thoughts, and emotions that, if explored with authenticity, could become your greatest strength. Most people never stop to examine that uniqueness because they are too busy trying to fit in, following a script that someone else wrote for them. But you are not here to be like everyone else. You are here to discover what makes you different and to cultivate that difference as the most valuable gift you can offer the world. Imagine, for a moment, that within you there is a seed, one that has never been touched by doubt or fear, a seed that holds the full potential of who you can become. But that seed cannot flourish unless you choose to nurture it, unless you dare to dig into the depths of your soul, to face the roots of your fears, your insecurities, the limiting beliefs you've carried for years. How many times have you felt like you weren't enough? How many times have you believed you didn't have what it takes to stand out? Those moments are not accidents. They are calls from your essence, reminders that something within you is waiting to be discovered. Most people live disconnected from themselves, searching externally for what has always been within. But the real difference, the reason why someone is perceived as unique, lies in their ability to see themselves without filters, without excuses, without fear. When you start exploring who you truly are, you uncover parts of yourself you once ignored, talents you underestimated, and aspects of your personality that you believe were flaws, but are actually what make you authentic. It's not about changing who you are. It's about expanding, removing the layers that have kept you small, that have made you believe you have nothing special to offer. Think of an uncut diamond. At first glance, it may not seem valuable. Its brilliance is hidden beneath a rough exterior. But those who know how to look beyond the surface recognize its potential. They understand that with the right work, that diamond can become something everyone desires. You are that diamond. And while the process of refining yourself may be uncomfortable, even painful, it is the only way to reveal the brilliance that has always been there. But no one else will do this work for you. It's up to you to decide whether you will remain just another option or transform into an extraordinary presence. Becoming a rarity does not mean being inaccessible or arrogant. It means being so authentic and true to yourself that others cannot help but see you as extraordinary. It means knowing your worth, not in a superficial way, but from a deep place where you understand that what you have to offer cannot be replicated. But before you reach that point, you must confront the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding, the ones that whisper you're not good enough, that tell you you'll never measure up, that insist someone else will always be better. Those voices are shadows that dim your light. And as long as you allow them to rule your life, you will remain just another option. Because here's the truth. Others will value you only as much as you value yourself. But what does it really mean to value yourself? It's not just looking in the mirror and repeating positive affirmations. It's something much deeper. It means looking at your successes and failures with the same level of acceptance. It means embracing both your strengths and your vulnerabilities. It means understanding that everything you have lived, no matter how painful or insignificant it seems, has a purpose. Every experience, every setback, every achievement is a brick in the foundation of something unique. But to build it, you must be willing to let go of comparisons, to stop trying to fit in, and to start living from your truth, Society has taught us that to stand out, we must compete, to be the best, to surpass others. But that mindset only leads to exhaustion. True rarity does not compete. True rarity simply is. Like a tree growing in the middle of a vast forest, not concerned with being taller than the others. Just focus on reaching its fullest potential. And in doing so, it becomes something worth admiring. The same applies to you. You are not here to compete. You are here to grow into your most authentic self. And when you start living from that place, everything shifts. Your presence feels different. You no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. Your energy communicates it effortlessly. People start seeing you as irreplaceable, not because you do more than others, but because you are more yourself than ever before. That is the key. It's not about doing. It's about being. Allowing yourself to exist in such a raw, transparent way that others can't help but be drawn to your authenticity. Authenticity is magnetic, but it is also a challenge. Because being authentic means being willing to show yourself exactly as you are, even when you know that some people won't understand. It means trusting that what you have to offer will be enough for those who are meant to appreciate it. And it means accepting that not everyone will. And that's okay. Not everyone can recognize a true rarity. But that doesn't mean you should change who you are to fit into someone else's expectations. Now, I want you to ask yourself this. If you weren't you, if you were observing yourself from the outside, what would you see? Would you see someone living from their essence, or someone trying to be what others expect? It's an uncomfortable question, but an essential one, because you cannot become something extraordinary if you are not willing to be brutally honest with yourself. And honesty isn't always pleasant. Sometimes, it means admitting that you have been living a life that isn't yours, that you have let fear dictate your choices, that you have forgotten who you really are. But that honesty is also liberating. Because once you acknowledge where you are, you can finally start moving toward where you truly want to be. Every time you choose to understand yourself a little more, every time you release what no longer serves you, you move closer to the version of yourself that is unique, unrepeatable, and extraordinary. And when you finally allow yourself to be that version, the world notices. Because the world is full of options. But very few dare to be a rarity. It is undeniable that we live in a world that seems to thrive on constant motion. Social media, responsibilities, expectations. Everything seems to push you to move faster, to do more, to be more. But here lies the paradox. The more you disconnect from your essence to please others or conform to what the world expects from you, the weaker your energy becomes. Transforming yourself internally does not mean withdrawing from the world, but rather learning to engage with it from a place of strength, not need, from a place where your peace is non-negotiable. The process of transforming your energy does not happen overnight. It is a journey built on small daily actions that strengthen your relationship with yourself. It is not just about what you do, but how you do it. Every thought you choose to nurture, every decision you make, every emotion you allow yourself to feel is like a brick in construction of your inner power. And when you commit to building from authenticity, the results become inevitable. People begin to notice something different about you, something they cannot quite explain, but that naturally draws them in. Some might call it charisma, others presence. But what they are truly witnessing is a reflection of someone who is aligned with themselves. That alignment is neither perfect nor constant, but it is honest. It is not about never feeling fear or doubt, but about learning not to let those emotions define who you are. Because when you become the master of your own energy, negative emotions do not disappear, but they lose their power over you. You decide which part of you will lead the way. Imagine for a moment that your energy is like a melody. There are harmonies so faint they get lost in the background noise. But then there are melodies that resonate so deeply they cannot be ignored. That melody has its own vibration, its own essence, and when someone hears it, they feel something different. This is what happens when you transform your energy. You stop being just another note in the background and become a song that leaves an imprint. And that melody does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be authentic. At this point, you might be wondering how to begin this transformation. There is no single path, no magic formula. But one thing is constant. The willingness to pause, look inward, and observe what kind of energy you are cultivating. You may realize there are patterns you need to release, wounds that have yet to heal, beliefs that no longer serve you. This process can be uncomfortable, but it is the price of true freedom. Real transformation never happens within comfort. Inner power is not something you attain in a moment of inspiration. It is a result of a daily commitment to yourself. It is a result of choosing, over and over again, to be authentic in a world that constantly urges you to be something else. It is a result of allowing yourself to fail, to evolve, to be imperfect and still worthy. Because the energy of someone who sees themselves as a rarity does not depend on external validation. It is built on an unshakable awareness of their own value. When your energy aligns with that truth, you don't need to speak louder or make more noise to be noticed. People sense that power before you even say a word. They feel that there is something about you that cannot be replicated or imitated, because it comes from a unique place. That is the essence of being a rarity. Not something that anyone can find, but something that everyone wants to keep. The world is full of choices, of individuals who settle for the bare minimum, who stay on the surface, who do not dare to look deeper. But you are not just another option. You have the capacity to become something that others truly value, something that inspires, something that transforms. That capacity is already within you, waiting to be awakened. The question is, are you willing to do the work? Because if you are, I assure you that your energy will not only change the way others perceive you, but also how you see yourself. And when that happens, you will stop being an option and become something that simply cannot be ignored. Have you ever stopped to think about everything you chase? That feeling that you need more, that there's something out there that, if only you had it, would finally make you feel complete? It is easy to get caught up in this endless race, believing that happiness, security, or success is just one more step away, one more effort, one more achievement. But that cycle is nothing more than a trap, an illusion that keeps you disconnected from the real power that already exists within you. And here lies the paradox. The more you chase something out of need, the more you push it away. Because any desire born from lack can never fill the void that created it. Everything you believe you need is already within you. But to realize that, you must break free from a mindset that has taught you otherwise. It is not your fault if you've learned to measure your worth by what you own or what you achieve. This is what we've been conditioned to believe. That abundance is something you must earn, something dependent on external factors. But the truth is, abundance is not something you find. It is something you choose. It is not about how much you have. It is about how you feel about yourself. Imagine your life as a river. There's a natural flow designed to carry you forward, toward what is truly meant for you. But that flow can only work when you trust it, when you stop resisting the current and allow the water to guide you. The problem is that most of the time, instead of flowing, we try to control the river. We build mental dams made of fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs that block the passage of water. We cling to the idea of control, believing that if we don't dictate every detail, everything will fall apart. But control is an illusion, and the more you cling to it, the more you disconnect from the true power that comes from flowing with life. The most powerful shift you can make does not happen outside. It happens within, in your perception. Because abundance is not about accumulating. It is about recognizing that you already have everything you need to feel whole. It is a transformation in the way you experience life, in how you see what surrounds you, and most importantly, in how you see yourself. Have you ever noticed how people with magnetic energy, those who radiate confidence and peace, are not obsessed with proving their worth? That is not a coincidence. It is because they stopped searching externally for something they already found within. And that inner peace, that certainty, is what makes them irresistible. Because true abundance cannot be faked. It is felt. Shifting out of a scarcity mindset does not mean giving up on your dreams or settling for less. It means changing the energy from which you approach them. Because when you stop chasing out of lack, you begin to attract from wholeness. And that is where the magic happens. The external world is a reflection of your inner world. If you are filled with doubt, you will attract experiences that reinforce those doubts. But if you cultivate an energy of confidence and gratitude, the universe responds in the same frequency. Because the real key is not in doing more. It is in being more yourself. There will be moments when things do not go as expected, times when it may seem like you are moving backward. However, even in those moments, abundance is still present if you choose to see it. Because every challenge, every loss, every detour is an opportunity to rediscover your inner strength. Abundance does not mean the absence of difficulties. It is the ability to face them from a place of resilience and peace. As you begin to live with this mindset, something shifts not just within you, but in how the world perceives you. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate a sense of wholeness because deep down, everyone is searching for that feeling. Being someone who lives from a place of abundance does not mean having everything figured out. It means being a reminder that fulfillment is possible, that it is not about what you have, but about how you choose to experience life. All of this might sound abstract, but its application is entirely tangible. Every time you catch yourself feeling that something is missing, pause. Instead of focusing on what you lack, shift your attention to what is already present in your life. Gratitude is not just a mental exercise. It is a powerful tool that transforms your energy. It serves as a reminder that even as you continue to evolve and grow, you are already whole. You do not need to be more to be enough. And once you truly understand that, everything changes because you stop chasing and you start attracting. And in that shift, you realize that life is not about having. It is about being. You may not notice it, but every decision you make, every action you take, reflects the standards you have set for your life. And the most powerful realization is that these standards not only determine how you live, but also how the world responds to you. The way others perceive you is not shaped by what you say or promise, but by what you allow, what you tolerate, and the invisible lines you draw to define who you are and what you are willing to accept. These boundaries are non-negotiable if you want to be seen as something extraordinary, someone who cannot be ignored. A luxury is not available to just anyone. It is not found on every corner, nor is it given away easily. And that exclusivity is not spoken, it is felt. The same applies to you. The standards you set in your life are a silent language that communicates to others how deeply you value yourself and how firmly you believe you deserve more. Have you ever stopped to think about what you are communicating through what you accept in your relationships, in your work, in your daily life? Every time you overlook disrespect, every time you settle for less than you know you deserve, you are diluting those boundaries, softening the edges of your essence. You are allowing what is extraordinary in you to fade into the ordinary. Living with high standards does not mean being rigid or uncompromising. It is not about building walls. It is about creating a space where only what truly elevates your life belongs. It is like a garden. If you allow anything to enter unchecked, it will soon be overrun with weeds, suffocating the flowers you've worked so hard to nurture. But if you tend to that garden, if you consciously choose what you allow in, you create a space where what blooms is vibrant, full of life, and undeniably beautiful. You are that garden, and the boundaries you set are the care that ensures your essence is never lost. Some people fear setting high standards because they think it will make them lose connections, opportunities, or acceptance. But here is the truth. Those who truly value you will not walk away because you stand up for yourself. Those who leave because you refuse to accept less than you deserve were never meant to stay. And that is not a loss. It is a gain. Because every time you choose to raise your standards, you attract people and experiences that align with your true worth. It is an act of purification, a way to release what is not meant to walk with you into your future. This is not just about what you accept from others. It is also about what you accept from yourself. Every time you postpone your dreams, every time you choose comfort over what is right, you are sending a message to the universe that you do not fully trust your ability to achieve something greater. And life will always respond accordingly. The universe does not negotiate with insecurity, but it aligns powerfully with those who have the courage to set clear boundaries, not from arrogance, but from the clarity of knowing who they are and what they refuse to be. Imagine for a moment that you are a lighthouse standing in the middle of a vast, dark ocean. Your light is not meant to convince every ship to come to you, but rather to guide the ones that are destined to find your shore. That light does not need to shout. It does not need to justify its place on the horizon. It simply shines. But if that lighthouse allows its light to fade out of fear of not being seen, or exhaust itself trying to illuminate everything at once, it loses its purpose. It loses its essence. You are that lighthouse, and your standards are the intensity with which you choose to shine. It is easy to think that setting boundaries is an act of separation, but in reality it is an act of love. First, toward yourself, and as a result, toward others. Because only from a place of self-respect and clarity can you offer the best of who you are. Setting standards does not mean being inaccessible. It means being conscious that not everyone can or should have access to you. And that does not make you selfish. It makes you selective. And selectivity is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Have you ever noticed how certain people radiate a magnetic presence? How their very existence leaves an impact without them trying. That presence is not something they were born with. It is the result of how they have chosen to live, of the standards they have set, and of what they refuse to compromise. That energy, that magnetism, does not come from being overly accommodating or always available. It comes from consistency, from an unshakable alignment between their internal worth and how they show up in the world. You cannot set a standard in one area of your life while allowing the opposite in another. You cannot demand respect if you do not respect yourself. You cannot attract authenticity if you live in contradiction. Your standards are not just words, nor are they occasional decisions. They are a constant reflection of how you choose to show up in the world. They are the foundation upon which you build your identity and your impact. And that impact is felt not because you declare it, but because you embody it. Transformation is not a final destination. It is a continuous journey, a process where there is always more to discover, more to refine, more to let go. And that should not discourage you. It should inspire you. Because every step in this journey brings you closer to the most authentic, magnetic version of yourself. The standards you set today are the roots of what will flourish tomorrow. And those roots cannot be shallow. They require depth. They require commitment. Because the world does not need more people who settle. It needs more people who dare to be bold, to stand out, to rise above. And if you choose to live from that place, you will become someone who cannot be replaced.